Good evening.
Welcome to CHMA Broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, Canada. You are listening either on 106.9 FM in the Tantramart area or at www.chmafm.com.
Which is on the internet.
This.
Which is in space.
Sometimes. It's also under the sea. Under the sea.
Oh, yeah. Fiber optic cables.
Yeah, the internet, I think, everywhere.
Pretty much.
Like Wi-Fi, 5G, or whatever we're on now. I don't know. 7G.
We're on 5.
Sure.
Is there something more?
Man, I don't know.
G's than 5?
What do the G's even stand for?
It's just like generation. So like
really?
The first was like, and then after like fourth, they were like, how do we keep? And in the business, they were already like keeping track of it that way. So then the marketers were just like, tell the people it's 4G. Ooh. It's got more G's.
It's got more G's. I love it.
More is better.
More is always better. I can't wait for 6G. This is ground control at YMC Midgic Airport. That's where we are. You're joining myself, Air Traffic Controller Thomas.
Yeah, and me, Air Traffic Controller Luke.
Join us for the next hour as we watch Sky, listen to some tunes, chat, and we'll be done by and by, and maybe we'll even talk about the internet more.
Yeah, well, I assume at least one person's listening to this on the internet.
At least in some way,
like
shape,
if
or form.
3 people are listening.
Yeah.
One of them's on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's good.
It is good. The internet's a tool of good. Do you know what else is good? Weather.
What? Oh, we've had some weather lately.
We have.
Folks, this is the point in the show we tell you we are pre-recorded live.
Yes.
So this is live for us, but almost live for you. I mean, it's Saturday. It's only a day out. So, and it was, I think people, based on what I heard when I was, about town this morning before I came in for my shift here at the airport, they were like, oh, it's going to be a terrible day. Well, like, the
nice
sun's
day.
out.
Yeah.
Even this morning, I mean, it was overcast, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So I'm predicting a week of the actual professionals saying it's going to be rainy and cloudy.
Yeah.
But I'm telling the people down at the weather,
it's
just going to be, sun poking out enough. Like we'll get a day or two where the grass is dry enough to mow.
Mm-hmm.
Farmers can get out here around the airport. They got a little bit of fencing left to fix up after the winter.
Totally.
Get the cows back out here past the runway so we got something else to look at.
Yeah, it's been a long winter.
Oh, tell you.
Air Traffic Controller Archie, who is in charge of the cows, is with us right now, running into microphones. Thank you, buddy.
Ooh. That was the sound of Air Traffic Controller Archie knocking the audio interface off the break room table.
Yeah.
And into the freshly polished linoleum floor.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, you're a winner.
So, Air Traffic Controller Archie's taking a break outside of the break room now.
And for people who aren't our regular listeners, Air Traffic Controller Archie is the type of air traffic controller that has a tail and multiple legs.
Yes.
More than multiple.
4 legs.
4 legs, a tail.
That wags a lot.
Yeah.
Long
That's
ears.
the kind of air traffic controller.
Wet nose.
Not like the radio operator kind.
No, he goes and chases cows.
Yeah.
It's his job.
It's what he does. It's what he loves to do.
But I was going to say,
we all be so fortunate?
So weather. You're hoping for good weather. You're predicting good weather.
I'm predicting it is. It's not really based on science.
No, it's based on hopes and dreams.
That's
right?
not stopping anybody from doing anything nowadays anymore.
Exactly. So next week, if I remember correctly, there is this thing called a yard sale.
Oh, the big old community yard sale.
Yeah. So
I've heard that's going to happen.
A few communities around have been having them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think kind of maybe in lieu a little bit of garbage picking.
I was going to say, do you think that'll become the weekend to put bigger items out since people are driving around? Just put the old 100% sign on it and
put stuff at the end of the driveway that's free.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you drive around town and there's going to be a whole bunch of different yard sales. I think my lovely, beautiful wife and I are going to make an attempt to go out to a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're...
Don't mind me a good yard sale.
Me neither, especially when there's a whole bunch of them.
Do you think there's any meaningful difference between a yard sale and a garage sale?
I don't think so. I know, like, some people be like, you need to have a garage to have a garage sale. But if I have a garage sale and there's no garage, it's just on a yard, are you going to be offended and leave?
Well, I don't know. Are there garage items at your yard sale sufficient to, like, merit it? Like, is it a... You see, you're doing it based on the location of the sale.
Yes.
I'm thinking that, like, a yard sale, I suppose, isn't more yard stuff. It could be households regardless.
Yes.
Maybe it is primarily location-based.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to get grumpy either way. You call it whatever you like.
Yeah, exactly. I'm selling stuff. I don't care. I'll show up. Like, I get the idea.
Yeah.
Call it a pop-up thrift store. Like, I don't, you know? But yeah, I'm excited for the pop-up thrift store there next week all around town.
Oh, I'm going down to the used bookstore today. I know we shouted out Amy's today, but that's on my weekend to-do list.
Yeah.
Like my junky sci-fi paperback pile. It's empty.
Oh, wow.
I've burned through it. I've moved a few of them to the bookshelf.
Yeah.
I know we haven't done a book report segment in a year.
No, we haven't, but...
I was through them all.
Yeah.
I'm doing my spring read of Sherlock Holmes.
Nice.
And I'm going to get some nice light sci-fi for the summer.
Nice. Do you
Nothing more summery, the little dystopian future.
Yeah, especially when you're living in one. What do you have a series that you're kind of leaning more towards right now? No, so you're just going to go in like...
I'm just going to go... I'm going to look for like the classic sci-fi heavy hitters, though. Like, there's some names.
How willing are you to read the sci-fi work of L. Ron Hubbard?
Oh, I don't know. Like, I'd probably give it a read.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, you obviously read a lot more sci-fi than I do. And I genuinely don't know his reputation as a sci-fi writer other than I knew that's what he was before he started the religion Scientology.
Yes. Yeah, I maybe. Sure.
Yeah.
I won't. If I see a copy there of something, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
But instead, looking for Clark and Asimov and, you know, we'll just see.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Maybe.
Amy's bookstore over in Amherst?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
It is.
I don't fit in the aisles.
Sorry, man. So you do have to be a little bit more of a slender person.
Yeah.
Like if you're quite big,
yeah,
it's a tough spot.
It's fun spot. I still like it, but it's tough. Yeah,
it's tight in there.
Hey, you want to play a couple tunes?
Oh, heck yeah.
So looking at the tune pile, we got one on the top that I actually wanted to play a few songs from.
Oh yeah.
And it's an album called My Friend the Waitress.
Yeah.
And it's from Sal.
It's our buddy Sal.
Yeah, so Sal
just played Duckies the other night.
Exactly. We were listening.
Listen, man, a small crowd there.
There was.
And
good crowd.
CA, Sonny, and Sal burned that place to the ground.
Yes, I saw a lot of CA and Sonny, and that was very good.
Yeah, you were. Well, we'll play a tune or two, and then we'll talk about some of the things that you educated me on during the musical portion.
Sure. So first, we're gonna do Hemlock by Sal, and then
is something special.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got at the apothecary shop, the stuff that you bought for the one you forgot. I suppose it should taste quite fine, but I don't wanna die. I'll cry, not for me. I'll weep for thee when I think of the time I thought you were mine. Turpentine libations of wine, the shit that I find takes up all my time, but time it tends to fly, and I don't wanna die. I'll cry, not for me. I'll weep for thee when I think of the time I thought you were mine. Paupers and princes and such that linger lingering lechers who long for your touch. But I'm not one to pry, and I don't wanna die. I'll cry, not for me, I'll weep for thee when I think of the time I thought you were mine. And passers-by, they're wondering why there's someone like you with someone like I've done my best, I've tried, and I don't wanna die. I'll cry, not for me, I'll weep for thee when I think of the time I thought you were mine. Now there are thoughts in your head left better unsaid, like the flowers of red that you left in my bed. But roses wither to die, and I don't wanna die. I'll cry, not for me, I'll weep for thee when I think of the time I thought you were mine. There's a howling gale on the Pequod, you see, that lone white whale and Queequeg and me, and my sunken sailor's eyes. But I don't wanna die, but I die when I think of me, weeping for thee, and I die when I try to forget why I cry. Special about the way you move and the things you do. I find you're quite divine. And there's something fine about those boots you wear everywhere, and the way they sometimes shine. And you always walk in perfect time. You're mine, mine, mine. There's something good about the things we would and the things we could, and the lilt you spoke sometimes. And it's wonderful that the things I said could fill your head. You're sometimes in my mind, and you always talk in perfect rhyme. You're mine, mine, mine. Filthy, but the bed was made, and you drew the shades and tossed me to the floor. And how it shattered me when you mentioned me in that eulogy, even though it's been some time. And now you're gone away, I'm here to stay, and you're mine, mine, mine. you wrote and mailed to me and tossed them in the trash. And I don't have to read those shitty books that you lent to me. I'm free at last. I'm free at last.
That was something special,
Isn't it?
yeah.
Like I was having this. I had multiple discussions at the show. I got there a little early. And
Yeah.
got to hang out with a buddy of mine and kind of walk around the room talking to some others.
Yeah.
And one of the people I ran into, I haven't seen in decades.
Hmm.
We had a pretty lengthy discussion about how, in her opinion, everyone who was listening to punk, given a long enough timeline, comes around to folk music.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah,
I 100% can see
there's
that.
a clear, well-trodden path
Yeah.
from the one genre to the other.
Yeah.
And they're just, kind of throwing that down, which I guess I always knew was a thing. And you hear of people who used to be in, fairly hardcore punk bands who now are, either in folk or I think a lot of maybe more metal than punks
Yeah.
end up making the slide down to bluegrass.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing because there's a lot of that very particular technical
playing. Yeah.
quick, very fast technical playing. Yeah, a lot. Actually, I know quite a few former metal guys who picked up banjos or whatever.
Yeah.
As I got older.
Strange, man.
Yeah, and there's I think also this pull, especially in the Maritimes. We start with enjoying and loving punk and more electrified, rebellious music when we're younger.
Yeah.
But then we get kind of pulled back to the more traditional instruments that have been played here for 200 years, right? And that our grandparents and great-grandparents would have played. And if you're looking for rebellious music about, anti-establishment with folk instruments, well,
Yeah. Wild.
Crazy. Oh, sports ball.
What's going on in the world of sports?
You had a sports thing, didn't you?
I did a bit of a sports thing.
Yeah.
Traveled down to the first South Shore Outboard Racing Association event of the year.
Yes.
Which I think I'd mentioned on here a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
That I'd been preparing for one of these longer form races.
That's correct.
My goal going into the weekend was simply to survive the two 20-minute stints.
Right.
And the Saturday when I arrived, unfortunately, it was two. We raced kind of two different types of boats at these events. We would have a traditional hydroplane, which in your mind, some people say it looks like a pod racer of a certain generation. Yeah. Others would, know what a hydroplane, but think of a boat with kind of a pickle fork design. It's got two pointy bits on either end of the front.
Yes.
And kind of rides up on a cushion of air as it reaches speed. But it was too windy to safely run those on the Saturday.
Oh, yes, that makes sense.
So it kind of defaults to the runabouts, which if you, maybe the best way to describe it in your mind, think if you took a canoe, cut it halfway.
Yeah.
And, kneeled down in the canoe with an outboard motor on the back.
Yes.
So we had some drivers meetings on the day, and they said, well, seeing how we don't know if the wind's ever going to really calm down, we've already paid the insurance and the ambulance and everything to be here. We're going to make our 20-minute session a 30-minute session.
Yeah.
And for some of it, that was slightly concerning because I didn't know if the boat would hold enough fuel for 30
fair,
minutes.
Yeah.
When in turn, actually, what I should have been concerned with was, do I have the stamina to go 30 minutes? And as it turns out, I did.
Good.
Actually, of the, I can't remember, 12 or 13 boats that ended up, answering the call when they called the boats to the beach to do this, every single one finished.
Good. That's awesome.
No crashes. I'm not going to say the odd boat might not have bumped into another boat,
sure.
But no 100% finishing rate
Yeah.
on the 30-minute marathon.
That's awesome.
Which I think is why they felt very confident when they came back to us about 45 minutes later and said, we still can't run the hydros. We'd like to run tomorrow's 20-minute race today.
Yeah.
And they asked again if it wanted to be extended. And only one gentleman raised his hand and said, let's go longer.
Yeah.
Everyone else said, we need to race to meet the definition of a marathon. And
Yes.
this type of boat racing is 20 minutes. So we will be racing for 20 minutes and 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the flag will drop and we will all come safely back to the beach,
Yeah.
which once again we did.
Nice.
Unfortunately, one person did not complete. Mechanical failure, though, and safely made it to shore.
Good.
But otherwise, and then Sunday we were able to run the hydros. So
Awesome.
yeah, had a lot of fun.
Good.
Managed a couple of third places, which
Awesome.
is for a rookie.
Yeah.
And I think we tried to figure it out when I was there if my boat was in fact the oldest boat on site.
Yeah.
Now, folks, this is very much like a grandpa's axe or the ship of Ephesus.
Is
Which
it
one is
Theseus?
Theseus, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like every
Piece of the boat.
of this 100-pound boat,
Yeah.
35 pounds might be original wood. You
Yeah.
know, the rest has been pretty heavily worked over, but nonetheless, it's true to its original design. And
Yeah.
still, I think, competitive if you were to put it in the right hands.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, it was a fun weekend of boat racing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear, especially everyone going out and being able to do, even in the choppier, let's say, waters, the marathons. Like that's a smart and good pivot from the organizer.
Yeah, so we were definitely encountering waves, like rollers across this. We were racing on a lake, and the wind was coming kind of up the long way of the lake.
Yes.
So you'd get these rollers that would be, after a boat went through and hit it the wrong way, it would jack up a roller, and you'd be hitting 2 and 3 foot waves.
Yeah.
The boat I race is barely over 10 feet.
Yeah.
So it's it keeps you sharp.
Yeah.
It really does.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But there's probably other sports stuff that happened.
There was a big one, actually. So Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Canadian, won the most valuable player for the NBA this season.
I should know this. Because I played basketball once.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, wait. Is it going to turn into a scandal?
No,
Are you
not a scandal. But you know how you have a strong affinity for 3-pointers in basketball?
No.
That you love them.
Is this a big guy who sits back and shoots threes all the time?
No.
Okay.
He's different. He's big. He plays
Like
point.
NBA big or like just regular?
Well, he
human
plays
big?
point, and I think he's like 6'7", 6'8". So he's
NBA small, but real life big.
but even in him, like for his position,
Yeah,
massive.
he's a big point guard.
Yeah. And he uses every part of his body to get the most ridiculous foul calls.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah?
I like a player that can draw a foul.
Oh, I can tell you a lot of people don't.
Physical play. Yeah,
well, that's the problem for him. It's not really physical play.
Oh, he's more like Euro soccer vibes, where you
he's-
sneeze on him and he goes down.
Yeah.
Oh, I take it back.
Yeah, and like so his team, there's 4 teams left. We're in the conference finals. His team is in the conference final, and they're against Milwaukee, the Timberwolves. Milwaukee. And there's a lot of footage of
maybe taking some dives.
well, definitely him taking some dives, but also I don't know what the
So
refs,
then, if he was achieved MVP, is that something that's worked on stats? Like I know stats in pro sports is a huge thing. In basketball, I think.
they have advanced stats.
They're pushing that.
Yes. It's
Fans
certainly
want to talk about it. They're so into it.
Yes, it's stat based, but it's also like team performance based.
Okay.
If you could have probably the best stats in the league, and if your team is the worst team in the league, I don't think you're going to get MVP.
All right.
His team was the best team in the regular season as well. But yeah, the refs are calling fouls, and there aren't hands on him, and constantly. He's very good at, he's very good at drawing fouls, like you said, but not really with the physicality that we would have saw from people compared him to Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Not quite the same physicality, more positioning and hand placement. And so there's conversations about, well, he's the MVP because he has the best hand placement in the league. And then a lot of other people will be like, he's not impossible to defend because he is incredibly athletically gifted. But
you wouldn't get to a position like that if you weren't.
Exactly. He's, if not the best, one of the best in the NBA. But people are more talking about, and I guess that's the biggest point, the narrative isn't about this Canadian winning. The entire narrative is around referees giving him more points. And we've talked about referees in basketball before.
Yes, I think we have.
How there are referees still officiating in the NBA that have been caught in cheating scandals. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions about officiating in the NBA, and it's not really coming at a good time. Everyone's looking at the star player for this teime and the referees, and there's a lot of footage, and a lot of people are starting to talk about it. So it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, comes from all this noise about how inconsistent officiating is in the NBA.
I know. Also, they are our local Q. What is it? Q League, QJMHL now, or
like the Moncton
Wildcats.
Yeah,
they won a big thing here this past week.
Oh yeah, did they?
Yes.
What'd they win?
Oh, some cup. Like they won their section.
They won the cup.
Yeah.
Good for them.
I know there's a lot of Wildcats fans here in town. There are people who go up weekly.
Yeah.
Season ticket holders, and
I enjoy when we've gone, I've enjoyed the games.
Yeah, there you go. It's good hockey.
It is good hockey. High level hockey right here. Hey, do you want to know what's going on in town? I'll tell you. But I'll tell you after we do a couple songs.
We're going to throw some tunes in first?
We're going to put some tunes in.
Gosh, if only we had some more tunes from Sal.
Yeah, how about I play two more?
All right.
Okay.
What do you got queued up?
I don't know. I'll tell you afterwards.
We'll meet again on Rue Champlain, and I'll roll you a cigarette, and we'll walk down to the locks at night, and you'll ask my name again. I won't give my name, it don't mean so much, but I'll give you this book to read. I won't give my name, it don't mean a thing, but I'll give you my songs to sing. And we'll walk down to your place by the river, and you'll kick your shoes off, and I'll hang up my hat on that old wooden rack, and you'll ask my name again. I won't give my name, it don't mean so much, but I'll give you this old guitar. I won't give my name, it don't mean a thing, but I'll give you my songs to sing. And we'll talk about Jesus Christ and all those holy men, and we'll laugh about the golden days, and you'll ask my name again. I won't give my name, it don't mean so much, but I'll give you this diamond ring. I won't give my name, it don't mean a thing, but I'll give you my songs to sing. You'll sit at my feet and lean a bit and tell me another tale, and I'll tip my cap and bid farewell and be on my way again. I won't give my name, it don't mean so much, but I'll give you this book to read. I won't give my name, it don't mean a thing, but I'll give you my songs to sing. I was the one to go off the rails, 3 sheets to the wind, yet none in my sails. And your blood was bleeding, you were done with pleading, and nobody knew what you would do. And who is to say whose wounds are worse? Yours self-inflicted, but mine were there first. And your blood was boiling, your heart was toiling, and I didn't know where you would go. And I remember it all like yesterday. It went by so quickly, now wouldn't you say? And your eyes were streaming, we wouldn't believe it when we couldn't see what we could be. Here I am longing to go back again. She might take me back, but she couldn't say when. And I, so set in my ways, so shit-faced these days, it's hard to see why she'd be with me. Night after night I do dream of you, wishfully thinking what else could I do. And day after day it's always the same. I wake up hungover and call out your name. And if I could really just turn back the time, I would take all our tenderness and try one more time and tell me again, but whisper it's sweet. Did we even meet, us infamous lovers admitting defeat?
So, we just listened to a couple slower tunes from Sal, kind of bringing it down in the middle. That was Rouge Champlain to start, and then we just listened to Three Sheets to the Wind. A little ballad. I liked it.
Oh, you like the slow one.
I do like the slow
you're
one.
a dancer, eh?
Oh, yeah. Got the dancing shoes.
Yeah, you got those shoes all polished up.
Yeah. Hey, you want to talk about a few local things going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, let's see. Friday, May 30th. That's this week coming up. We've been shouting out Dorchester Memorial Public Library's events for a while. We got preschool story time. That's at the Memorial Public Library, like I said, 1 to 30. Bring preschool age children and their caregivers for a little story. The next day, we already kind of shouted it out, but we got from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. is going to be the yard sale across the entire town.
Community yard sale.
Community yard sale, but the Anglican Church has, I think, a big
spread?
Big spread for you. So go check out St. Paul Anglican Church right across from the Waterfowl Park, right?
From the Swan Pond?
Yeah, that's what I meant. From Swan Pond.
Well, it's adjacent to Waterfowl Park as well. You could walk up from there.
It's true.
No potluck included.
No potluck included.
Never been to an Anglican potluck?
I've never been to an Anglican potluck.
I wonder how tight their game is.
Huh. Might have to see if they even do them, then go
Maybe
infiltrate.
I think
day.
potlucks kind of really got toned down over COVID. I'm not sure if they bounced back yet.
That's true. I don't know. I'm not really in the circles to be doing potlucks as much anymore.
The pulse of potlucks no more.
No. Nope. Hey, you got some news?
Well, I've got an event I'll shout out.
Oh, yeah.
It's May 31st. It's coming weekend, Saturday.
Yeah?
Maritime Moto Show. That's the car show that's put on down at the high school.
Nice.
And you go down from 12 till 3.
Yeah.
A lot of local cool cars.
Yeah.
Some things that aren't cars, motorcycles.
Oh.
Maybe some other stuff.
Yeah.
But the proceeds this year, instead of being funneled back into the automotive program there, are going to be donated to a local student in need that had a motorized accident a couple months ago. So, I usually walk on down every year and see, but this year I, maybe walk on down, buy a little something from the barbecue,
100%,
there, make a couple bucks, and socialize.
Yeah,
it'll be a great event.
Great cause,
and organized by the students. And man, can you imagine organizing something like that in high school?
No.
Yeah, I could barely organize myself.
I don't think I can organize that now, to be honest. And I'm not in high school. I haven't been for a couple years.
Huh.
News.
All right.
Tantramar Council. We talk about them a lot.
A fair amount.
OK's new code of conduct with tougher penalties. We've actually talked about Bruce Finney being sanctioned on the show before.
Yes, we have.
We have talked about Debbie Caldwell, Wiggins Caldwell, also being sanctioned on the show before. So the town council has adopted a new code of conduct bylaw that would allow for suspension of any members of council for up to 90 days without pay. Councillor Bruce Finney, who has been sanctioned 3 times under a previous code of conduct, was the only member to speak and vote against the new bylaw. And later in the article, Bruce mentions that I have to cut this for a second, Thomas, because I need to find where it is, because I do want to get his words right. Sorry, it was the next sentence. Finney referred to critical comments from Mount Allison politics professor Jeff Martin, who told Wark Times in February that the new code could violate Charter of Rights, guarantees of freedoms, and freedom of association, freedom of speech, and freedom of association. What do you think? What do you think of that? That's a lot. That's pretty loaded.
I think I'd have to actually go read it. we've discussed different organizational structures in the past here, and I can get a little excited about it, but I think that's one of the things where the wording can be quite impactful. It is. These are elected representatives.
Yep.
I try and grapple with that a lot, where you can elect someone based on their beliefs and what they're going to try and promote.
Totally.
And I think people get worked up on that because then they find out we might not be in 100% agreement.
Totally.
I guess that's not really the point here. Is that I think what's brought up later in this same Work Times article is that it's the other counselors who would have sway over whether a person could be placed on the suspension or not.
Yes.
And I think that gets a bit sticky.
Yes, that's fair. If 7 out of 8 members get to impose this 90-day sanction, but yeah.
All right, something to look into, folks, if you're concerned with local politics.
Certainly. It is to note that in 2022, Councillor Finney lost 2 months of pay and his prescription drug coverage, which we did cover at the time, if I remember.
I think so.
For that period, after he suggested Sackville's hiring processes were unfair because of, quote, family members are being hired.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, he has been on the end of a suspension without pay before.
Yes.
I can see, and especially I would be very upset if my prescription drug coverage was taken from me without me knowing, which it was from him.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand his trepidation
yes.
Of having other council members have that authority over me. But I also understand that council needs to have some sort of mechanism to enforce just decorum. It is a public office, so it is a place of business, and there are things that you say and do in public office settings, and there's certain things that you don't say and do in public office settings.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Any other news? You said there might be bridge news.
There is bridge news.
What's the bridge news?
Dude, DTI has come out. You could read about it. Megan Mitten had a post. You could read about it here on the CHMA website.
Yes.
Multiple articles. I'm going to sum them up because I'm not good at verbatim reporting.
Totally.
They're going to put a new bridge in next to the existing Wheaton covered bridge.
Okay.
It, in all likelihood, will not happen this summer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Local farmers out there pretty riled up about it. It's not that far here from the airport down to the bridge.
It's true.
But it makes it difficult for farmers to get out there. It turns what could be a 10-minute drive into an hour and a half drive with a tractor. So it becomes that thing of we have this wonderful usable marsh farmland that is super fertile, great for grazing cattle on, great for harvesting the hay on. It's a heck of an asset, and this is making it more difficult to access it.
Yeah.
It also means that if something were to happen to the highway, which we saw when it was shut down temporarily in the past, there's really no other reasonable route across the marsh.
No, there's not.
So if it had to be shut down for emergency, or, we all know that the dikes here are at pretty great risk of flooding, which is a whole nother news story in itself.
It is.
But it's a little challenging. And heck, I know a lot of us live in more rural places in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
That's a choice we make. And part of that, the consequences that come with those choices is having limited mobility sometimes because roads get closed down. Yeah. So anyway, it is bridge news.
That is bridge news.
They are going to keep, I think, from what I read, the existing covered bridge. Kind of had it there, so you can look at it, maybe do hopefully as smart enough work to keep it as a tourist attraction.
Totally.
And something you can go walk across and
That's nice too.
No more trucks and tractors going across it.
Hey,
yeah,
I want to transition into some promos.
All right.
Before I do that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do some gold stars.
Oh, yeah.
So you got a gold star, you said.
Oh, yeah.
So what's your gold star?
I'm giving it to the Atlantic Moto Show. Those kids up at the high school organizing a thing, making a decision to help, a fellow student out instead of putting the money into the school. I think all around, from what I hear, they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
So they're getting a gold star.
Gold star. I'm giving it a gold star to just the idea of maritime hospitality.
Oh?
Yeah, there's a lot of people around that I know like billet people for short amount of time. And, opening up your house isn't always the easiest thing to do. So, good for those people.
There's people like that all over. I think.
There is, but, I'm from here in the Maritime, so I'm calling it maritime hospitality.
Yeah, right.
Hey, do you want to know what's on in about 28 minutes or so?
What?
Actually, it'd be less than that.
Yeah,
way less than that.
A lot less, I think.
Math is hard. It doesn't matter. Do you know what's on next?
All kinds of stuff, but probably
live on KEXP,
formerly known as
Under the Needle.
Yeah,
bringing you the very best of KEXP's world-renowned live in-studio and remote performances. Each week, we'll bring you a new live session from an emerging artist or a well-established act, spanning styles, genres, and cultures. They've had everyone from Macklemore, and I like him.
Yeah?
Yeah. They've also had Canadian acts like St. Vincent, Purity Wing, Tegan and Sarah, Jeremy Dutcher from right here in the Maritimes.
Yup.
Just like Sloan, just like Elephant Jim.
No.
You can check all of them out at kexp.org or YouTube /KEXP.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. It's not what I meant to say. I meant to say
the internet?
Sunday, 8 p.m. Right after that, Black Atlantic, a primarily Black Atlantic-centric podcast, website, and media channel with the goal of bringing Atlantic POC voices to the world. Hosted by Clinton Davis and Hilary LeBlanc, Black Atlantic is a social purpose organization focused on providing platforms of perspective towards the diversity of being Black in Atlantic Canada while challenging common stereotypes. You can check them out at www.blackatlantic.ca, follow them on Spotify, and visit their YouTube page. Do you know what's on at 9 p.m.?
Oh, I think I do.
Oh, it's a night shift with Luca Capone.
You never know what you're going to get with Luca Capone.
You never know what you're going to get with Luca Capone. Luca Capone feverishly supports diverse, adventurous artists and musical genres, from psychedelic jazz to experimental hip-hop. You got these two because they're French.
Oh, the Tropicalia to Musique Concrète. That first one, not French.
100% French.
All right.
With heavy focus on Canadian and independent artists. And that can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. on CHMA. What's your...
You know when you're usually awake by on a Saturday? Maybe?
When?
11 in the morning.
Definitely I'm awake
so
by
late
then.
in the morning, it's almost afternoon.
Yeah.
And you and I, we both appreciate independent music.
Yes.
We like Atlantic music.
I do.
Sometimes a little different music. So you could tune in with Andrew Shaver.
Oh.
It's called When We Wake. It's an hour of that kind of music.
Nice.
All kinds of stuff. But, a full hour, you're going to get some indie. Going to get some folk.
I like
We've played folk here before.
Once or twice.
Within a few minutes.
Yeah.
So tune on in. Give that a listen.
Do you know what I'm going to do right now?
What's that?
I'm going to play some folk.
Okay.
I might play 2 folk songs.
Really? Are we going for a full... The full Monty Sal?
You know what? Let's do it. Let's full salad.
Radio show.
Let's salad.
You came here to town. You put on a show. You get the whole night.
You get the whole night. So we're going to do 2 more songs with Sal and his friends, and then we'll come back with a little outro. Okay, I have fun.
When we had a falling out like folks have always done, I threw out your letters, all except for one, like folks have often done. It was the one that you wrote me when I was in Kashmir. It read like a poem and made me shed a tear when I was in Kashmir. remember when you talked me down. I was laid up on the floor. I was sicker than a dog. I couldn't take it anymore. I was sleeping on the floor. And you spoke to me so gently, and you said you were surprised that I was proud of you and what you'd done with your life. You were so surprised. You out for breakfast on Neddy Street in Hull. You were the queen of spades and I was the jack of none on Neddy Street in Hull. And it goes without saying, but would you even know it, that I love you very much, but I hardly even show it. So how would you even know it? I'm going to see Rosemary. She's always good to me. She runs her fingers on my palms and tells me what she sees. And she talks to me so tenderly, and she takes her time with me. If I could speak my mind so candidly, I'd tell her she's the one for me. I'm going to see Rosemary. She never does me wrong. She smiles her laughing lines on me and puts the coffee on. And from time to time she turns me on, but I keep on keeping on. If I could speak my mind so honestly, I'd tell her she's the one for me. I'm going to see Rosemary. I will be there in due time. And when she looks her laughing eyes on me, I will take those hands in mine. And with my on bended knee. I will make my golden plea, and I'll sing my song so gallantly, just to tell her she's the one for me. I'm going to see Rosemary.
Hey, we just listened to Jack of None and Rosemary
Yeah.
by Sal. A big old Sal evening.
With CA and Sonny.
With CA and Sonny. And Sal.
And Sal, yes.
Yeah.
And some others on that album if you look it up.
Go check
More
it out.
maritime connections. I know we squeezed them in because they played local rule that you implemented.
Exactly.
But they've also got pretty deep ties to Fredericton. I think a couple of band members were there for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Might not even have been some of their first times playing here in Sackville.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy to hear. Hey, thank you for listening.
Thank you to CHMA for hosting us.
And broadcasting us. You can check them out at chmafm.com, and you can check them out on all the socials at CHMAFM.
Can you check us out on the socials?
Absolutely not. Do not look us up on any of the socials. We do not post there. The only reason we have them is so other people can't take them. And pretend they're us.
We got them putting up in the kitchen cabinet like the Christmas china.
That's exactly right. Once a year, we might dust
them
it off, send out a single post. Don't follow us. It's not worth it. But if you miss an episode, definitely go check us out. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, YouTube. They just get uploaded straight to YouTube.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild.
Man.
And like one or two people watch them.
Yeah.
Or listen to them. Maybe
yeah.
we're just background noise. I'm okay with that.
I am background noise.
Huh.
Night, folks.
Have a great evening.
sensation when you sit there at my side. And it's quite the lucrative occupation when you take up all my time. And you take up everything I find incomplete, and you make it all completely sweet like wine. I cry with tears in my eyes. You see streaks down my cheeks. I wanna run and hide, 'cause you're right there, right there, right there by my side. You saw me in some sticky situations, and you said that you didn't mind. And you done me and my dirty dispositions, and you said, man, take your time. And you take up everything I find incomplete, and you make it all completely sweet like wine. I cry with tears in my eyes. You see streaks down my cheeks. I wanna run and hide, 'cause you're right there, right there, right there by my side. Sometimes I try to lose my inhibitions when I tip that bottle back. And you can sue me and my stupid superstitions. I saw a white cat, or was it black? And you take up everything I find incomplete, and you make it all completely sweet like wine. I cry